of Thursday, February 22nd, 2024, the Chaska Human Rights Commission to order. The first thing that we'll do is I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Want to
So-
call the roll first?
Yes, thank you. See, I have the agenda and I haven't even done it correctly yet. All right, Commissioner Alidar, Commissioner Welbert,
Here.
Commissioner Hubbard,
Here.
Commissioner Carlson.
Here.
Commissioner Gotti,
Here.
Commissioner Lesueur.
Here.
Commissioner Me,
Here.
Commissioner Hamza,
Here.
Commissioner Sandison, Commissioner Hannon. I think that takes care of everybody. We're missing a few people today. So now we'll move to adopting the agenda. I need a motion and a second for that.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second on the table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so the next item here is just an introduction of some of our new members. As you know, in January and the beginning of February, we had commission interviews for reappointments. So congratulations to those who were reappointed. So Commissioner Hubbard, Commissioner Carlson, Commissioner Gotti, Commissioner Sandison was also in that reappointment, and we have three new commissioners as well, Commissioner Me, Commissioner Hamza, and Commissioner Hannon, who cannot be here this evening. So I don't know, would you both like to say something? Just a little bit about who you are and
My name's Yusuf Hamza. I am a student at the University of Minnesota, and I've been wanting to get involved with local government for about a year now because I'm studying urban studies and stuff. So understanding how government works on a local level is, I get that is an important thing. It's the root of governments everywhere. So I'm excited to be here.
My name is Kevin, use he, they pronouns. I'm a youth program coordinator for a nonprofit, and I wanted to get involved in 2020 when everything happened with the pandemic. That really sparked my interest in local government instead of just the stuff you see on the news on the national level. And I'm curious to getting involved in more like human rights work as my career progresses. So here I am.
thank you for accepting the recommendation and being part of the commission. So the next item on the list is to recommend appointment of the chair and vice chair. So this is something that the city code calls out every year that the commission makes a recommendation to city council and then they officially approve that. So they look for that recommendation coming out of this board. So what you recommend tonight will actually go on Monday evening city council meeting. So with that, I will open it up for nominations for the chair. We'll start with the chair.
Sarah's been doing a fantastic job. I'm assuming you still want to do it?
I'd be happy to.
Is there others? I don't know.
I agree.
I will third it, I guess, at this point.
I will make a motion to recommend that Sarah Carlson serve as chair for 2024.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, congratulations. Would you like to do the vice chair?
Yes. So it's appropriate then that we select a vice chair. The vice chair fills in the absence of the chair, obviously, but also is a key person in working with the subcommittees that we'll talk about in a little bit under new business. And it's a great way to begin work with the Human Rights Commission and to take over some of the responsibilities if you're interested in doing that. It's okay not to say not this year, it's all right. But if you'd like, I'd open the floor to nominations for vice chair.
I appreciated having you as vice chair, Martin. Are you interested again?
That's nice, because I was going to say, I'm gonna nominate you.
Well, Well, this is,
Should we have a campaign?
I need to be wooed.
Now this is the race of 2024 that everyone's.
Real race. Oh. I would be willing to do it if you would not like to do it this year.
I will decline.
Okay. I am willing to accept that.
I'd make a motion then.
we have a motion then to nominate Jen Welliver for vice chair. Is there a second?
Sorry, I should have said that whole thing. I make a
That's okay.
motion, Sarah.
I'll second it.
Excellent. So we have a motion. It's been seconded. Is there no further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Welcome, Jennifer, to the role. For your information, Jen has served as,
Chair.
were you vice
Oh.
chair?
Well,
At
my
one point?
Facebook memories today told me 6 years ago was the day that I got the chair position.
Okay, so Jen has been the leader of the Human Rights Commission in the past, so I welcome you to the position. I'm looking forward to working with you as I am with all of you.
Thank you.
Just so that the two of you know, we like to have fun at our meetings. And so we also like to move our programs forward, but I think we also like to have fun. So I encourage you to speak out when you feel the need.
I've been to a few Minneapolis City Council meetings, and it's a good breath of fresh air.
Yes, I've watched some of those Minneapolis. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to say anything about Minneapolis, but we're a little bit different here in our community. And hopefully we can have fun at working towards human rights here in Chaska. Open forum, guest presentations. For the benefit of the new people, we try to have guest presentations throughout the year of various organizations that serve our community and who have identified as our partners. And Parks and Recreation Department are one of those key partners that we look to for help, for guidance, for coolers, for support, a whole variety of things. So would you like to come to the podium? And again, for the official record, if you'd like to introduce yourselves officially.
All right, well, thank you for having us here tonight. It's exciting to be here and see some familiar faces and then some new faces as well. My name is Erin Link, and I'm the Recreation Manager for the Chaska Parks and Recreation Department. And we have Sydney Seiffert here, who's our Community Events Supervisor. So we're really here tonight just to introduce ourselves, meet all of you. We have had the privilege and honor to partner with the Human Rights Commission along the way in different events and things like that. So, and we really truly value or see a lot of value in partnering, especially as it relates to events. There's just so many different, resources and skills that come from different groups to come together to create, an even better event than just one organization could put on. But just to back up just a little bit, our Parks and Recreation Department, we are located in the Chaska Community Center. If you're not familiar with the Community Center, you'll have to come and take a tour and consider getting a membership or something like that. But our team, the team that I support as the manager, is program supervisors who work in a lot of different areas for programs and events. So we have our, preschool and youth programming, we have teen programming, adult programs, and we have what we call the active older adults. So we don't use the senior term, we say active older adults, which is kind of our 55 plus community. And we do have a active older adult facility within the community center that's called the Lodge. So we are really responsible for providing programs and events throughout the whole community. So we do a lot of things with the community center as it has a lot of great space with meeting spaces and pool and ice and all of that great stuff. But we do a lot of our programs and activities in our parks, curling center, all of those things as well. So if you see, we have a seasonal activity guide that comes out 3 times a year. So right now our winter spring guide will be coming out with our summer guide about mid-March. But everything you'll kind of see in this activity guide are the things that our team is working towards and putting on. And I should mention too, we also have been doing a lot more adaptive programming, so programming for people with disabilities in the last few years as well. But our partnership, we've worked with the Human Rights Commission on different events in the past, different levels of support, but really, the Martin Luther King Day event that the Human Rights Commission hosts, we've offered crayons and we've been there for moral support, things like that. We have also helped out with the Pride Picnic event that usually is in June. Just with being there for day of support, I think we've helped maybe secure a couple food trucks, stuff like that. But we just love working with this group, being involved and supporting however we can. And we have a Latin Fest event that is in September that celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month that I know the Human Rights Commission has had a presence at. So it's always great to work with different organizations to kind of pull people and talent together to have a great event. We also have done some partnering a little bit with our gallery. So we have an art gallery within the community center. So I think it was a few years ago, the Human Rights Commission hosted a gallery exhibit called Green Card Voices. Sarah and I worked together. Just for me, it was just a little bit more on the logistical end of helping to get the pieces to our facility and getting picked up and things like that. And we have just recently started working a little bit more with the Latino Voices group for an ofrenda display in our gallery that also happens, it's towards the end of October, early November. And I think the Human Rights Commission, you guys supported that with some funds to get some of the items for that display. So we just want you to know that, we're here as a partner and support as you guys are working on your initiatives throughout the year. I'll turn it over to Sydney now so she can just kind of highlight some of the events that we have coming up this year. And then we can always leave some papers here that kind of highlight those too. So.
Yeah, so I'm Sydney Seiffert, Community Event Supervisor. I also run a volunteer program and sponsorship within the Parks and Rec Department. Some of the events we have coming up this year, next week we have our Spring Carnival at the Community Center. We're also doing a couple Bike Month initiatives, partnering with Carver and the Boy Scouts in Chaska to help them at their bike rodeos. We also have our summer concert series throughout the summer, June to August. Our Fire and Ice Festival in July, and then Touch a Truck in August. So lots of fun stuff coming up.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that the Human Rights Commission likes to do, maybe like is too limits, but it's more of a passion that we have to embrace our community. And whether that is with working with Latino Voices, Mi Casa, if it's with other organizations. We did a terrific celebration of the African countries last year. So broadening our reach into our community and helping members of Chaska feel like this is their home. And so however we can partner with Parks and Recreation this year to do those kinds of things again, I'm encouraged that you're here. I look forward to a great year of partnership. Do any of you have any questions of our Parks and Recreation staff?
We must have just nailed it. We covered it all just like that in like 2 minutes.
It's really been a pleasure working with you guys over the years, though. It's just really nice that there are some resources or different connections that you have that can really help supplement whatever we're planning for an activity or a community event. So I just really appreciate that you're willing to jump in when we called, and you're ready to jump in where needed. So thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. I mean, it's great. That's where I think, when I mentioned just different groups will have their different strengths or resources. I mean, we put on, we've got a list here of, it's usually about one big event each month, but that's kind of what we do. So when it comes to providing coolers or knowing the food trucks to reach out to, or any of those kind of logistical things, we do that a lot. So it's a great way that we can support even in a small way for some of the things that you guys are doing. So
You all approach it with Leslie Knope style energy.
I shouldn't admit this, but I've never watched Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
Is this taped? I shouldn't have said that.
That is the only thing I know about Parks and Rec departments.
Yeah.
Is that show.
You will have to come up to the community center, check things out. We did just put a ping pong table up in our office today. So yeah, maybe we're kind of channeling some of that, that energy that we don't even know. But, well, thanks for having us. Yeah, and reach
Thanks
out.
for your willingness to come. So I know that we'll be setting up our committees tonight. And of course, the first big programming, I think, will be that we'll look for partners will be, help me, Pride
I think
is Pride. And so we're anxious to get that started and think about how we can reach and support members in our community. So look for a very soon phone call.
I said mention the volunteers too, so she is managing our kind of our volunteers and our volunteer program. But we have so many opportunities for you guys as a commission to be involved in any of the events that we do. A lot of times we'll have volunteer groups, then we'll help. You may have to help, run a bounce house or something like that, one of the events, but then having your table, wearing your logo and your gear, just getting the word out about your organization and any of those things that you want to, share with the community. It's kind of it's a nice win-win, when it comes to helping to support an event, but also, getting information out that you want to get out to the community too. So keep that in mind we'll leave this list of events just on a chair back here, but make sure to grab one before you leave.
Could you share a little bit about your equity and diversity team that you have within the Parks and Recreation Department?
Yeah, so it's been a little over 2 years. We kind of created a diversity and equity inclusion group within our department. Just with really the goal for our Park and Rec department, we have the goal of being welcoming and inclusive, just really following our City of Chaska, strategic goals as well. But we really, kind of felt that we needed to have a group come together where we could just be a little more intentional and, kind of be planning different things and keeping that in the forefront of our mind. So the group is really made up of different people within our department, some people who are on our community center team, a few people on our recreation team. And we started with really kind of doing a analysis of a kind of a SWOT analysis, right? What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? All of those types of things. To really kind of see where maybe those first action items or steps we could try to do. Then we broke into some subcommittees where we're looking at, kind of our building assessment. And, the community center is 32-ish years old now and not super accessible, but we've kind of looked at, all right, are there small things that or changes we can make within the building to help make it, more accessible? And then we're looking at some of our communication. We went through a plain language training that was really broader. A lot of the city staff went through it, but that was to really look at some of our forms that we have. Can we cut back? Can we simplify a little bit to make it easier for people to just get the information that they need? We've been really trying to focus on some of those diversity calendar, celebrations and recognitions. And with that, we're kind of a group of people that none of us are experts, but we're kind of fumbling through it a little bit together, but we're at least there to kind of hold each other accountable for making some steps forward. We are about to finish, I think it's very close to being done, a video that will just kind of welcome people to the community center and some, little introductions from some of our staff and highlights of what we have to offer. One thing, we met with the diversity team with the school district. And one of our takeaways from them was that, just really taking the time to get to know the community members and listening. And we kind of took that as, we should really maybe create a way that for people who don't know about the community center or our department, a little bit of a window into who we are and what we do. So that's where the video idea came from. So that's close to being done. But We don't really have a budget for this DEI group, so we're trying to find those very, free things that we can do. So as far as making big changes to our facility and things like that, that's not something we can do right now, but yeah.
Great.
And yeah, and Sarah and Juana.
Kayak.
Yep,
Mhm.
came to one of our meetings and, we just learned more about the initiatives for the Human Rights Commission, and that was really nice too.
Thanks for that update.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We'll leave the event list and we have a good meeting.
Great. Thank you. Okay. In our packet of information are the minutes from our January 24th meeting. Was that the 24th? No, 25th, excuse me. If you've had a chance to read through them, any questions, comments, deletions, corrections?
Make a motion to approve the January 25th minutes.
Thank you, Jen. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ren. A motion's been made by Jennifer, seconded by Ren. Any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Oh, the treasurer's report. This is important for our new members.
Yeah, so Commissioner, what you have in your packet is treasurer's report. As you can see, January had a number of expenses. Commission, most of those, and what we try and do is relate what event those expenses may be related to. You'll see things, or purchases made that relate to the MLK Day event, which was held in January. And so I believe all those invoices and the costs have come through already, so that they have completed that. In addition, the Human Rights Award, which is given at the MLK Day event, you can see the costs for those are also included. Since for our returning commissioners, since the January meeting, we did pay the Hooked on Books sponsorship, which occurred earlier this month. That was something you voted to approve in the December meeting, was that sponsorship. And then also Commissioner Carlson spent some time at the Chaska Event Center a few weeks ago at an event called Carver Community Connect, where it brought a number of community organizations together to be available to members of the public to, I think there were haircuts and organizations like the Human Rights Commission and I believe the CAP agency and a number of others that provide resources for those in our community. So we did purchase some fruit to have on the table there. So we have not incurred, I know we've incurred expenses for February. They are not reflected here. They would be the name tags and the nameplates for our new commissioners. So that'll be reflected next month. So for those who are new, the 2024 budget for the Human Rights Commission is $6,500. So as we're sitting right now, just slightly under that $6,000 mark. So that is the report.
Are there any questions?
Tags, plates, shirts.
Yes, we
Business cards.
will be getting some additional shirts. We had a few extras from last time, which will I believe that's how Commissioner that's how we got you your shirt. We had an extra, and so we'll see those costs coming through to get our new commissioners up and going.
Great. So $6,000 for the activities that we believe we want to host this year. If there are no questions, may I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
Before we do the motion, I just was gonna let the new know our budget is a use it or lose it every year. So we try to get as close to zero as we can by the end of December. While being very creative in how to stretch that throughout the year. But whatever's left over does not carry over to the next year. So start thinking creatively of how we can use it.
Gotcha.
I make a motion to approve the budget or the treasury report.
Motion
I'll
made. Is there a
second.
second?
Second.
Thank you, Martin. If there's no further discussion or any questions, all in favor of approving the February 22nd, 2024 Treasurers Report, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Okay. Old business. First up. A human rights celebration. Jen, you gave a pretty extensive report in January, but do you want to just recap in general words about the MLK? And also as an explanation for what we should be doing or could be doing for the planning of 2020. January, right? Would it be January 2025? It will. Holy buckets. Okay.
We have a Martin Luther King Day celebration / Human Rights Award presentation every year on Martin Luther King Day at the, what's it called? The event center. I'm like, not the community center, at the event center. And we usually have a keynote speaker or some sort of discussion, some sort of presentation for the community that has to do with Dr. King and his legacy that he has left and what our community, how it is tied to that and what can we do. We also present the Human Rights Award, the Chaska Human Rights Award every year at that event. And so then we hear about different individuals and groups in the community who are working for human rights in some capacity in our community. These are people that are nominated from community members and they have to have some connection to Chaska. And it's really a great event. It's one of my favorite events of the year. This year we had a little change because our keynote speaker was unable to be there fairly close to when the event happened. So we pivoted a little bit and some Chaska High School students from the SOAR, Students Organized Against Racism group, did some readings and then led a discussion that we had at the tables that were about the readings and how that tied in with Dr. King's teachings and stuff. It was a really cool new thing to experience, I think, so it definitely let us think about different ways that we can help engage people in our community and things like that. Trying to think if there's anything else that our Human Rights Award this year, we ended up choosing 2 recipients from 2 different nominations. And one was Mikasa, which is an organization here in town and in Shakopee, in the whole area. They do a lot of great things. And then our second award went to Marissa and Brad Nordling, who hosted a drag story hour earlier in the year that was met by some opposition from different people. And they handled it with grace and really created a welcoming and safe atmosphere for people to just come and enjoy this event that they had planned. Really both showing that they are working towards human rights in our community, so.
Great. Great for the, great overview. And that kind of really does tie into our new business, which are the committee selections. But I thought it might be helpful if we shared a little bit about each of our main events with everyone to kind of just recap what it is that we did and see where your interests may lie for 2024. Pride celebration. You want to talk about the Pride celebration?
I was not on that subcommittee,
No,
but
but you were there. I saw you tie-dye.
sure. So from what I remember, our Pride celebration was last June, and we had it at McKnight Park this year, which from what I understand was a change from the previous years where it's hosted in, I'm forgetting the name.
It had previously been in City Square.
Yes,
Square,
City
yeah.
Square. And there was tie-dye, there was ice cream. We had, I think, a couple of food trucks. And all in all, it was a really nice event. And it was my first year on the commission, and it was a really great way to participate. I think that was the first event I participated in, and that was really fun. So I like how kind of secluded and sort of it was kind of in its own little bubble in space, which I thought was kind of cool and special. So yeah.
Yeah, that was a great event. Jen, I think you were there. Martin, you were there. I think. Ren,
Yeah.
were you there?
I was
No,
not.
that was the wedding weekend.
Yeah, that was,
Okay.
it was a summer.
Yeah.
It has grown from year to year, increased in size. So I think this year we wanted to grow a little more. I don't, have we narrowed a space yet? Is it at McKnight Park again or
We have a couple of places reserved right now.
so?
I would
nice.
say it's grown in size and it's grown in the partnerships over the years.
Mhm.
We have done quite a bit with the community, with the Parks and Rec. Also with the Chaska High School, GSA students. They have done a lot of the planning, and we really have kind of looked to them to hear what students are looking for at something like this. We don't want to be like the Pride Festival in Minneapolis. We want to be the Pride Festival that works for our community. And so that's been really great to have some other voices in the conversation. We usually have done some sort of community art project so that anyone who attends can help do a part of this larger piece of art. So they're each doing a little part. Last year, the high school art teacher had made a huge picture and kind of made a grid out of it. So each person that did something painted a small square of it that was, it was almost like paint by numbers. But then when you put it together, it turned into this great Chaska hawk with the rainbow flag behind it, and it was really cool. And everyone can come and say, I was part of that, you know, and people do really, not to use the term, but take pride in, you know, that I was part of that and stuff. So it's just a really cool way of seeing something that is fairly new to our community, really taking off and growing each year.
River City Days, Martin, you want to talk about that?
Um, we host a table every year. Last year, every year we kind of do something different. Last year, we played Jeopardy, and I think we're gonna, wait, if I'm on the committee, I don't know. We may do Jeopardy again, just a little bigger scale. We have a great host over there. It's our time to engage with the community. Do a little bit of education and more fun at that event. Anybody else? We do give out a lot of things. I'm the commissioner who likes to hand things out for. We do give out swag, play some games. Anybody can jump in anytime. You were on that committee.
I mean, you pretty much described everything. Maybe instead of, maybe we should, the logistics for the freezies did not work out last year, so maybe that's the one thing that I think we could improve. But other than that, I think you did a great job of describing everything.
We handed out popsicles, so. Not last year, but previous year. We had popsicles last year, but we didn't really hand them out.
And River City Days is over a whole weekend at the end of July. And so even though there's a subcommittee that helps or does the main planning of it, all of the commissioners usually sign up for like a 2-hour shift or a few shifts throughout the weekend. So someone doesn't have to be stuck there for 48 hours or something.
It's a great opportunities, like all the other events, to interact with the community. People could walk through, go through the table. It's your chance to meet and greet. The spotlight's not really on you, like some of the other events. So I encourage you to join that committee.
Okay, so next up then is cultural heritage. And Ren, you were instrumental in working on that this past year.
And sadly, I can't remember why I couldn't make that one. Oh, I think I was moving a kid to college that weekend.
Yes, I think you were moving.
But we did, it was a great event, and
And Judy was there.
Judy
Judy did our
that's
henna.
right, that's right, you did the henna. So this was, we were really focused on African cultures, and so had different African foods. There were some different dance troupes that kind of showed, kind of demonstrated. There was a fashion show. There was a lot of work around kind of creating a tabletops that had, and then there was a scavenger hunt on different components to each of the African countries and what made them up, and so it seemed like it was really well received. Juhi, what would you add?
It was overall a really great event. You and Commissioner Alidar did a great job putting that together, and I'd like to see it grow this year and get even bigger and maybe include some other cultures as well. But I had a great time doing henna tattoos, so.
Cool.
I think that was one of the suggestions from last year is that we focus on maybe a world tour. So that different cultures that are represented, and inviting more members of our community to participate. I think that's a great idea.
Were there some suggestions?
Other than.
Because it's pretty tough to boil the ocean, literally, in this case, but.
Yes, and you know what trouble we had trying to.
Yeah, there's just, even in Africa, I mean, it was
Yeah.
really hard to just focus, right?
So, I don't know, that will be one of the top things that committee will work on is, do we again promote a continent, or do we look at a more worldview?
Mhm.
And if we have a worldview, then how would we represent that and invite our community to be a part of that? So. So other new events that we're thinking about doing, Women's Appreciation. We have many of the pieces of that event put together from last year. We focused on having nominations from our community for women who were leaders in Chaska. And this was all via social media. So on our Facebook page. We would like to do something for Asian and Pacific Islander recognition in May, Indigenous peoples recognition, and veteran acknowledgement. These are all the newer events, all come from our action plan from last year, where we said, if we are successful, we will reach into our community of Chaska and be more specific, more attentive, more welcoming to perhaps people who have chosen to live here that come from the Asian and Pacific Islander, whether that's Polynesian or Asia. So that's what we're hoping to do with those events. Our community partners. those are so critical to our success. You've heard from Parks and Recreation. Other identified organizations include Chaska Police Department, the library, Chaska Library. Thank you.
School district.
The school district, District 112. I'm taking a blank on.
Latino Voices and Mikasa, we've worked with before. The Lions and the Rotary.
The Lions Club, the Rotary Club. Yeah, so reaching out to them and asking them to be partners. I did have a chance to talk with the Southwest Chamber of Commerce people last week. They are supportive of our efforts. I think an invitation could always be extended to them and their members. We'll see how they can respond if we have specific requests of them, so. Yeah. So that's kind of a highlight of the committees. Do you have any ideas as to how you would like to serve this year?
Is that a open question for everyone or is?
Yes, that is a question for everyone. We've given just you the 35,000-foot level of what it is that we do, and how we've been successful in tapping into our community through this way.
Or do you have any questions about certain events during the year that we can help you understand it a little better?
Okay, we do 3 commissioners per committee. And you'll meet every so often to discuss the event and put your ideas together, come up with something, come back to the main commission, explain what your plan is or what you need help on or so forth, and kind of work out. So we kind of do it as a group, subgroup, then we do it as a larger group.
Sure. Well, I'd love to serve on the Cultural Heritage Month as well as if the Asian Pacific Islander and Indigenous Peoples Recognition commission subcommittees are going to be a thing, I would love to serve on those as well.
For myself, it's as a member of the LGBTQ community myself, I feel it would be important for me to serve on the Pride Committee. And I'd also be interested in serving on the Cultural Heritage Month, having lived in a different country at one point in my life.
I'd love to hear more about that sometime.
After I graduated from college, I was an international volunteer at a children's home down in Mexico. So I was there for about 13 months, taking care of a section of kids, taking care of a section of kids, the school swim teacher, or the home swim teacher. So I was in this tiny, tiny rural town in Mexico.
It's great.
Cool. If we're just going down the line, I'm happy to serve wherever, but would also love to, I had a lot of fun on the Cultural Heritage Month, but happy to give others a chance. And then any of the last 3 as well, the Asian and Pacific Islander, the Indigenous people or Veterans Acknowledgement. But again, happy to serve wherever.
If there is more people needed for the women's appreciation, but knowing that we have some women on the committee as well.
I'll stop you right there. So that's a good one. My experience when we brought this up, that they don't participate.
Oh.
So I will be happy to join you on that committee.
Yeah. Oh, well, if that's the case, I'd be happy to join that too.
So 3 of us?
Yeah.
All right, excellent.
I just assumed, I guess I shouldn't. Yep.
I wasn't gonna say anything because I was just gonna assume too.
Yeah.
But you also know what they say about assumptions.
I know, I just did.
But ladies, feel free to kick me off if one of you want to take over too.
I wasn't lying, I was telling the truth.
I don't even have any words right now, so that's fine.
My first day, so I'm not gonna rock the boat right now.
Oh, you're welcome to join that committee.
One of the things that I did last year is I met with Tracy Swanson and Taylor Hubbard. Tracy Swanson is still a member or a leader in our community. She was mayor, and if you look on the pictures in this room, you will see her. She served as mayor. I've forgotten what years she was mayor, but she was our mayor for, do you recall? That's a good reason to have the pictures on the wall. And then Taylor Hubbard, who is currently a city council woman. And so the three of us met with Kevin Wright, our director of communications for the city of Chaska, or excuse me, communications manager for the city of Chaska. And we talked about the differences, and what we found was there really weren't so many differences in serving in the city at different times, 20 years apart,
She was 79 to 84, so
79 to 84, yeah.
almost 40.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
40, yeah.
Yeah. And so it was fascinating for me to listen to Ms. Hubbard, who, like I said, is a current member of our city council, and Ms. Swanson, as they talked about door knocking as an example. And we think about door knocking during the election process, but the insights that both of them brought to the table were incredible. And what people said to them in 79, and then what they said in Taylor, I think, came on in 2022, or maybe 21.
It's before COVID.
Before COVID. Okay, 2018 maybe. But it was fascinating. And that video, is that on our website,
It's on our YouTube.
our YouTube channel?
Interesting.
Um,
Can I just
so,
add one thing to oh, sorry.
no.
This says a plan for March, which is next week. I'm wondering if that can be, is there flexibility there?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. I believe so. Yeah. Martin, you were talking about the subcommittees you wanted to work on, and you indicated that
Not listening, go ahead. I indicated what?
women's appreciation.
Mhm.
Is there something else that you would like to work on this year? You mentioned your interest in Jeopardy at River City Days.
Mm. Mhm.
I'm just, whatever you'd like, Martin.
River City Days, that's fine. Pride is fine as well, to start off with.
Great,
I can back off of that.
thanks.
I know there are others that are not here.
And we didn't ask Juhi.
So I
You
talked
did.
to Juhi and I talked to Hannah and Brittany, who are not here this evening, and asked them what some of their choices were too. So I have those once you go around.
Okay. Jen?
I guess I would choose the Martin Luther King Human Rights Celebration and the Pride Celebration. Although if I need to switch, I will, so it's flexible.
Well, and I'm the standby person for all. Again, as Martin said, we can have 3 members on a subcommittee. And I really enjoyed the cultural appreciation activities that we hosted in September of last year. So I think I'd like to do that. And of course, if any of the subcommittees need a shift in folks, then of course I'll stand by to help wherever I can. So do you have enough?
Yeah, so here's where I'm kind of standing right now with the MLK celebration of 10. So that's the only one we have on that committee right now. Pride, we'll have to look at this one because we have 5 people interested: Kevin, Hannah, Brittany, Martin, and Jen. River City Days, we just have Martin. Cultural Heritage Month, we have Ren, Juhi, Yusuf, Kevin, and Sarah. So we'll have to look at that one too. Women's Appreciation, we have Kevin, Martin, and Ren. Asian and Pacific Islander Recognition, we have Yusuf. And that is where we stand right now. Juhi also said she would help with River City Days. Anything else there? She said she'd be happy to help with that as well.
Is there anyone else for the Indigenous Peoples recognition?
I'd be happy to, yeah, either of those last two.
Yes, you had mentioned that too. I apologize, I didn't.
So since we have a lot of people on the Cultural Heritage Month subcommittee, I'm okay being taken off of that one and joining any of the other committees that are needed. MLK, Indigenous peoples.
What would you like to do?
Don't want to bite off more than I can chew, but I'll give it a go at removing myself from the Cultural Heritage Month subcommittee and then going on to the can't read without my glasses. Sound like my parents. Indigenous Peoples subcommittee and the MLK.
Wonderful.
I would also like to say that I'd like to put my name in the hat for the Veteran Acknowledgement Committee as well. You know, if that one is going to remain empty also.
I'm sorry, I missed.
Sorry. I also like to put my name into the Veteran Acknowledgement Subcommittee as well.
Great, thank you.
And also in the case of the Cultural Heritage Month, since we seem to have an overflow, I would like to say it would be, I think, for me, it would be important to be on that as a person of color in a rather white community, I'll say it, and all that. So I would appreciate to stay on the Cultural Heritage Month if at all possible.
Stay on cultural heritage.
And I'd be happy to step back if we've got too many unknowns.
Make a comment about the pride. I can pull my name off. I didn't know who was gonna hold it, but I do think that a current member. The previous, let me say, I want to say this correctly, so I don't want to sound, previous commissioner from previous years should be on each one of the groups, so at least our new members know what we did. We don't have to do the same thing, but at least what we did from previous years. Does that make
That would
sense?
be helpful for
Makes sense.
speaking for myself.
Yeah.
The last 4 of the new events, you can basically say whatever we come up with at that time, that's what
That's
we're
the
gonna do.
precedent, yeah.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, but
I agree with you, Martin. I think that that's an excellent suggestion. After each event, the subcommittee meets and kind of does an after action report. And we go through everything from, you know, did the space work? Did the food work? Did we do enough advertising? Did we do whatever it was that we said in the beginning that we were going to do? Were we successful? And if not, what kinds of things can we recommend for next year? So those reports are all part of the history of the organization and can certainly be pulled just as reference points, just to say, okay, yeah, we did that. Was the tie-dyeing with little handkerchiefs successful last year? Well, yeah, people liked it, but they really wanted t-shirts, white t-shirts to tie-dye. So, okay, maybe that's an idea that we go with this year, maybe not. But that's an example of one of the things that came up in an after action report.
And I think also we tried to create something new this year, a one pager,
Yep.
not even a one pager. Maybe just give you some ideas to think about and I'll create these for all the new events too, but just things to get your mind going. So you can kind of keep track of it. And I think as we mentioned in the staff report here, there will be a staff member assigned, whether it's myself or Kevin or Krista. You will have a staff member assigned to each of the committees so that we can assist you in help do the work as well.
I think it's important to know too, that even if you are not on a subcommittee, your voice is always welcome to share ideas and things, either at a meeting here or send an email to Elise or talk to someone who's on the committee and say, hey, have you guys thought about this? It's just that we can't have more than 3 commissioners at the actual subcommittee meeting, so that we don't violate open meeting laws. But we can definitely have discussions in a public setting amongst a larger group, or you can speak individually with the people. Commissioners can't make decisions outside of the meeting, but they can have discussions and like, oh, I had this great idea for the Pride celebration, you know, and if you aren't serving on that committee, you can still offer your ideas.
So maybe I can just run through each of the committees again, since we've done some shuffling here. So on the MLK Right Preparation Committee, Jen and Kevin. Pride, we have Kevin, Hannah, Brittany, and Jen, so we still have 4 there. River City Days, we have Martin. Juhi also mentioned she'd be on it. I just got an email from Brittany, who's watching from home right now, that she'd be willing to be on that committee as well. We have Juhi and Sarah. Women's Appreciation, we have Kevin, Martin, and Ren. Asian and Pacific Islander Recognition, Yusuf. Indigenous Peoples Recognition, Ren and Kevin. Veteran Acknowledgement, Ren.
Possible, would like my name to be on the Indigenous Peoples recognition as well.
As well.
So if you want to add my name to Dr. King celebration, we have 3 for River City Days.
You?
We have 3 for Cultural Heritage. Do we have 3 for Asian and Pacific? Pardon me?
1.
Okay, that's where I want to
I
be.
think you should abstain.
Oh,
You do a lot. You'll get all these events as it is. I think
Okay.
we should give some of our other members a chance to step up.
that'd be great. I'll just show up. Meet and
I'm
greet.
not, you understand, I'm trying.
I'd be happy to be on the Asian and Pacific Islander as well.
We will call on you, Sarah, when we have questions or we need some connection somewhere or
I
something.
learned you're not shy if you have ideas, so it's a good thing.
Thank you, Ren. Okay,
Sorry, for the last 4, who do we have on the last 4?
Yeah, so Women's Appreciation, Kevin, Martin, and Ren. Asian and Pacific Islander, Ren and Yusuf. Indigenous Peoples Recognition, Ren, Kevin, and Yusuf. Veteran Acknowledgement, Ren and Yusuf. And I know in brief conversation with Hannah, she'd be willing to help with something else in addition to. She's a little bit limited this summer and into early. With her availability.
I will help with the veteran acknowledgement
I've got some great ideas for that.
and indigenous people, or was it Asian Pacific?
Asian and Pacific Islander.
All right, I'll help with that as well.
Some ideas.
But we can't be on the committee.
No, she cannot.
Okay, how are we doing on our agenda? I think we combined community partnerships, communications, and community select. Communication. Do we have any this month?
No, we do not.
I wanted to just bring to the attention of the group, speed friending. This is an initiative, hosted by Living in Carver County podcast, Greg Anderson. He suggested, and on his Facebook page and social media, it talks about isolation, being lonely. How do you meet new friends? How do you get to know folks here in Chaska? And this is just an option. First time, to the best of my knowledge, we ever had anything like this in Chaska. So it is on Tuesday, February 27th, 6 to 7:30 PM at Patrons. And it's a quick introductions, engage in several short, fun, and friendly interactions, combat loneliness and isolation, an opportunity to connect, foster new friendships for a happier, healthy mind, and boost overall happiness with the experience of joy of meeting new people. It's a free event. It's open to all ages. It's inclusive, diverse, a safe space for people from all walks of life. And again, this is speed friending, Tuesday, February 27th, 6 to 7:30 PM.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. If this is a successful event, I think it'd be great to do another time, like especially like maybe in the summer or something when people are have more flexibility. Because I work until like 6:30, 6:45 at night, Monday through Thursday. I'm interested in that, but because of my work schedule, I'm unable to go.
Sure.
But so if it's successful, I think it'd be cool to do another time. Maybe in like early summer-ish when people may have more flexibility.
You can certainly pass that suggestion on to Greg Anderson. Jen, you in your role as administrator for the Chaska Moravian Church, you've been hosting the AARP tax folks. How is that going?
It has been a great success. I do believe there are still appointments available in late March, early April, because it goes till tax day. I think it goes actually till the 8th of April. But I did give the phone number to Elise. I think they posted
They
it on
did
the.
post it on the city's Facebook page, too.
So if anyone has a fairly simple tax form that they need some help with and it's free, they can definitely call the phone number and make an appointment to get that taken care of. Everyone is just thrilled as they're walking out of there saying, "See you next year." And so they seem to be very satisfied with their experience they have.
And it's not limited to,
It's not limited to any age, even though it's sponsored by AARP, but there have been young families in there. There have been single people. There have been older adults. All kinds of people come to get their taxes done. So it's a great
service.
program.
Yeah, that's great.
any other announcements?
I have one.
Oh, yes.
This is kind of a past thing. that we
Okay.
Plan for the future. So February 10th, I believe it was, our Chaska Police Department participated, and correct me when I mess up. Participated in the polar plunge for Special Olympics. I don't know how much we raised, but it was quite a bit. I worked for Carver County, so I was on their team. But I think as the HRC, maybe next year, we can participate with the Chaska PD and jump into the lake.
I nominate Barton to be our representative on the committee for that.
That's fine. I jumped this year, so that's fine. But I think we should participate, even if we just show up. You don't have to jump. You can sign up just to raise money. But come out and support our team. I don't know how many police officers from Chaska jumped. But there are quite a few. I know Kevin was there. He jumped.
Jumped. Yep.
I'm trying to think of other faces. It was so cold. I don't really know who was there.
One of the 2 cold days we had this year.
You know, it was warm all week and then Saturday rolled around. We jumped on a Saturday and the temperature went down.
Of course.
Water was warmer than the air.
Wow.
But I think we should participate. It's fun. So that's the end of that announcement.
I suppose that is one of the things that you would want me to do. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Jen, any other announcements?
Not at this time.
Can I ask a question as we start to, because obviously on the Women's Appreciation, we need to get moving. Is there somebody that we should work with
Just-
yourself?
For right now.
Okay.
I will go back and talk to our team and we'll figure it out. And what I'll plan to do is kind of package everything up, send the individual committees kind of their sheet and that sort of thing, and which staff member might be, connected with that particular event. So I hope I can get to it tomorrow. If not, it'll be Monday.
Okay.
I guess I'm looking at the different events that have and are planning on happening. Does the Human Rights Commission have any talks or thoughts on doing something for Mental Health Awareness Month?
There has been such a focus on mental health awareness. I think that that's an excellent idea. Is that a designated month?
Yes, I just don't remember what month it is.
Does somebody have access to a diversity calendar? Or
Hang on one moment. I know I have something in one of my files here.
May, it looks like.
Just when with the whole speed runs thing.
Sure.
And focusing on loneliness and everything made me think about that.
I really like the idea. It does feel like we have a lot of events already, so maybe is it too late to swap one out or?
I mean, it doesn't have to be this year, but
Yeah.
it was just a thought.
Yeah.
I would suggest, my 2 cents, doesn't mean anything, that think about it for the next year or later on in the year and start planning it. And then, so in case it doesn't quite get off the ground, you're ready for next year.
Yeah,
Good idea.
that makes total sense.
Believe it or not, there's a lot of stuff on the list. And I'm not saying I'm just.
No, next year would almost make more sense, especially since Mental Health Awareness Month is May and next week is March.
Right.
So a thought for next year. I know it's early in the year.
It might be, I'm just speak. Sometimes you just need to tell me to shut up. And it might be a thought to push it back to November and
Yeah.
put it with veterans acknowledgement. So put those 2 things together and then kick it into May the following year as well.
You gotta talk about that. I think that's a really good idea. There's lots of veteran kind of anyway, so I think it's a really good idea and we should think about that.
yes, at the Chaska Community Connect program that Jen and I sat at, and there were the veteran service officers for Carver County. And in talking with them, they focused in on suicide prevention for veterans and crisis prevention activities, and indicated that they would be very receptive to partnering with us in some capacity if we wanted to focus on those particular aspects of veterans services. So just another potential partner for us.
Speaking of Community Connect, has there been any talk about another one? I know they had mentioned at the last one, they were hoping it could happen a couple times a year.
I have not been involved, so I don't
Okay.
know the answer. We can work to find out.
And I can give you a report on that in March, at our March meeting, because I'm going to a meeting. It's in the first week of March.
Okay.
So I can certainly let you know about
Well, I
that.
bring that up because I'd like for the commission to just start thinking about if we do another one of those where we sit at a table and talk with people in the community and stuff. We had a wonderful time.
We did.
But we're wondering what we could do to be a more effective presence there, or what we could offer the community as the Human Rights Commission. We were there basically to talk to them about what I don't know, how they could feel, how they felt a part of the community. We talked about pretty much everything, whatever they wanted to talk about, but we would probably be more effective if we had a kind of focused area that we could at least have giveaways or have a display about something, like to educate them about something. So if anyone has any ideas of things that maybe would be helpful at an event such as that, I mean, it doesn't have to be like a agenda item, but just keep it in the back of your mind. And if someday you go, oh, this would be great to share with the community, then I think that, we'd appreciate hearing that so that whoever's at the next event has kind of some ideas when they're going into it. And we can develop it more, once we know the date.
Sure. I'll let you know. I know that they collected information from all the participants to find out how they felt the event went. And I could not attend the February meeting, so I will ask for that information and bring it back to this group in March. Great. Ren, do you have any announcements? Anything
not.
going?
I don't.
Okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
Anything you'd like to add at the end of the meeting?
Thank you for including me and putting up with my random thoughts.
Random thoughts can be good, not to worry. Yusuf, any announcements?
No announcements. All I have to say is I'm excited to be here. And I'm hoping to get some things done on this committee. Have some, I don't know, have some sort of contribution to things in government. I'm excited for it.
Well, if there's nothing else, no? Then I'd say we had a good meeting. Generally, our meetings do not go into the wee hours of the morning. And so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor. I feel certain we will all say yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.